Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another amazing edition, saying that loud for a reason, of Let's Talk 1943. You know what? My guest acting up already. We didn't even get started yet. Yeah, already.
That's how we do.
This is a special edition for many reasons. First of all, it's a special edition because first we in Vegas live, number one. Number two, the first time and since I started podcasting, y'all actually able to meet my BFF. This is our first time on the show with me. That's Miss Pia Staine.
Hi.
And we have our special NE for life major fan. I know I'm a fan too, but I'm gonna give her props because she got some stuff on me. So I have Kendell Lenice on the line here. We're gonna talk about her. We're gonna talk about what she does. I was blessed and honored to be on her show last week, and we got so much to talk about. So y'all ready? Let's talk. So let's get into first and foremost, okay? Last night we experienced this amazing thing called the New Edition experience up here in Vegas. Their first residency. And yes, they first, as you see, we rocking their shirts from last night. We got these last night at the.
I got that one.
You got this
that
one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But you know, this is their logo anyway. So they made it very simple. They just kept their logo and just threw on the dates on the back. So it's a simple shirt, but it was a good memory shirt to have. So New Edition has performed. We was at the first show of the residency last night at the Encore at the Wynn, but the Encore Theater at the Wynn. And it was an amazing show. But before we get started talking about that, let's go into talking to Miss Kendell first, because the connection that happened is I was on her show and we just clicked. We were just like, she was like, okay, you must be a sister of mine somewhere, somehow. Like, how did this work out like this? Like,
Twin, where have you been?
she's like, Twin, where have you been? And then I was watching, she actually was blessed to interview Ronnie Devoe and his beautiful wife last year.
Wow.
And I was watching the interview and she mentioned that she was a Gemini. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, hold on. I texted her. I was like, yo, when's your birthday? She was like, June 17th. I'm like, I'm June 3rd. Like, I'm a Gemini too. So we were just connecting on that level.
Yeah.
So tell us, first of all, we got so much to talk about. So tell us about that experience first, interviewing Ronnie Devoe.
I mean, it was amazing because remember I told you about Bobby's book signing too, but that was amazing. I do interviews sometimes for Sheen magazine, and I had already put them on game. I was like, listen here, if anybody, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, Johnny, come across Sheen magazine, I better get the call first, right? So I'm so thankful that they did. And they were like, do you want to, they didn't even ask really, like Shamari and Ronnie Devoe, you know, because that's when they were on the reality show about marriage. And then they have their walk that they do every year for married couples in Atlanta. I was excited. I was nerve-skited, like they say, nervous and excited at the same time. And I knew I wasn't going to fan out because I have been around them before. But that has always been a dream of mine, to be able to sit down with them and interview them in a way that is memorable and that a lot of people don't, the questions that a lot of people don't ask them. And I had the pleasure to do that. And the whole time I'm interviewing him, I'm looking at him like, that is Ronnie. Even though I done seen him before in the presence, like, you know, he's saying my name. You know what? The funny part of it, girl, funny part is when Shamari was looking at my name, like you were, ReGina, and she was like, is it Kendall? And he said, it's Kendell, to his wife. I was like,
oh, see, that's it. That's all you needed. That's all you needed.
But thought I was so excited, but I was more impressed by the man, right? The husband, the father, than the group member of New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe, because we got into conversations like mental health. He shared something with me that he hadn't shared with anybody, that Shamari was struggling at times with her mental health. Because I don't know if you saw the interview, she looked at him like, we about to say this? And I told her, right. And as a life coach, I was like, listen, you don't know how many people you're going to bless, by you doing that. So they gave me that exclusive. And we just had a conversation. So it was one of the joys and highlights of my career. And I hosted Bobby Brown's book signing, and I felt the same way at Howard University, Barnes and Noble. I got a chance to do that and to be around them in different capacities than just seeing them front row, standing at the stage like this, like I'm 12. I got to, and I had the opportunity to see the New Edition story with them. I went to an exclusive premiere and I saw it, and I got to stand up and tell them about the soundtrack of our lives and what we all experience with, New Edition, and how they're just the fabric of a lot of us who we are growing up. And when I said that, the whole room erupted and was like, oh my God, you said exactly what I felt. So New Edition fans run deep, and New Edition always says that they would be nothing without us. I'm going to give you a quick example. So in September, I went to Detroit to see them get their R&B Hall of Fame induction, right? And they wanted to give the awards to us. We were the only one. There was a lot of people getting inducted into that R&B Hall of Fame that year, that class as they call it. But we were the only fans of those people, whoever was getting inducted, that they pulled up on the stage. Wow. And New Edition was like, we would be nothing without our fans. And the same thing when I saw them in 2017 get their Hollywood Walk of Fame star. The people who run that said they've never seen that many people come out for their celebrity to get their Walk of Fame star. They were like, they had no idea what New Edition fans it looked like. And it was raining, and just imagine a sea of New Edition fans in the rain with raincoats on singing Can You Stand the Rain?
Perfect, right?
It was beautiful. It's on my YouTube channel. You'll see it. It's beautiful.
Wow.
And, and they say it doesn't rain in Southern California. Yeah. Well, it does. And it did that day. Wow. And we were wrapped around the corner in the pouring down rain. If you just see the camera pan, it goes all the way around. So me not being there is just like, oh, but I hope they get more dates. But you guys allowing me to be a part of you all's experience in Vegas, man, it means the world to me that I'm not even there and you guys are there. I love it. I love it.
No, I love the fact that you able to tell us all this amazing experience that you had with New Edition. That's an amazing thing, because when we connected, I was like, yo, we're fans, but you there.
You're definitely a super fan.
You are definitely a super fan. And if we're gonna do this and do it right, actually being in Vegas, going to the residency, I had to end it with you on this show, because you are the epitome of the NE fan. Is like you're next to the dictionary name of it. Like your picture's like you in the book, right? You're like NE, right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you are it. But you had said a couple of things that me and Pia talked about last night and today. It's like New Edition is the soundtrack of our lives. Like literally, I was saying to her, I remember in 1983 when I went to the record store and bought that 12-inch of Candy Girl. Like I remember literally walking in the store, getting that album, coming home, putting it on my record player, and I played it over and over and over again. Just the sound. That sound you heard Jackson 5 in it, right?
Right.
You heard that, but you heard this like new kind of sound, like it was like not hip hop, but yet it was hip hop, but it had its own little flavor. It was something that we was actually able to say this is ours.
Right. We can identify. I felt the same. because like you said, even though you know that they're a group, a singing group, you still can identify because it's like, oh, this is my generation. This is kind of almost happening to me in a sense because they're close to our age. And even though they're singing like the styles of the genre of music that we grew up on, they still, it's a part of us. It's like we grew up with them. We grew up together, we could say. Because they started out so young, and with them starting out so young and us loving their music from the very beginning, it's like we grew up with them and they sang about things that we, still can identify with. So that's one great thing about New Edition and how it's like they never went away.
No, they never went away. And then on top of that, last night, what you just said made so much sense, and I resonate with it because last night you could watch the audience. I looked at the audience. You could tell that we all were teenagers again.
Yeah,
like
the
audience,
every concert is like that.
Yeah, nobody
every
has
concert.
bills. Nobody has kids. Nobody has husbands. Wives.
You said nobody has bills?
No, no, not last night.
Not last night.
No. Nobody had no worries last night. Everybody went right back to where they were at when them songs, because them songs was like literally our teenager years. Like I was 13, literally. Like I just turned a teenager, right? Then when they kind of did their little thing with Telephone Man, whatever, we was turning 16, 17.
Yep.
And then when they started doing, right, exactly. Look, she started singing the song.
Because you gotta go. He goes the time.
Yep.
He did.
And then the click. That's how you gotta do that choreography.
Yeah, with the phone booth and everything.
The phone
booth was up there.
So and then I was like, when they were doing certain Stand the Rain, I was in college then. So I remember exactly where I was at when I heard all these songs. So that is the soundtrack of our lives. And like every generation has theirs. Because you talk about Elvis or on the Beatles, like everybody had their little generation like group or band and ours was NE. That was our band, and we just claimed them as like y'all wanted us, like Pia said, like y'all wanted us. Y'all from the hood, y'all know about this, like you know about this, you know about that. So we resonate with them. So last night, just listening to everything, like everyone know every single word of every single song they sung. Even the split offs. Bobby doing his own thing, BBD, Johnny Gill. It was just a perfect mix of everything. It was a great night last night. So
how they support one another in their music.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and they did something like the Wu-Tang did in hip hop. They had that collaboration. Like, okay, we're together, but yet y'all could do your own things,
right?
And we'll go back and do our own. And that was very smart. It's very strategic because you build your own brands, but your brands are building NE at the same time,
right?
Right. So that was very, very smart. And, a lot of times people don't like that. They just like, oh no, you're gonna be better than me, and they didn't think like it. They thought of it as, at the end of the day, we all gonna benefit from this.
And they actually came back because, like you said, a lot of groups would become soloists and they don't come back together as a group. They were soloists and a group at the same time because BBD were still BBD, but then they would still go on tour with New Edition all together. Johnny Gill was new. He was a new guy to the group, but he had his parts and they all still came together. Bobby Brown came back with them and they all started touring and he was off the chain. Let me tell you, last night, I had to give him his props because, he had a little rough time for a minute, but he bounced back.
Man, Pia, I just saw him 3 weeks ago. I'm not joking, check my page. I literally was on the stage, like right here, and watching him like this. 3 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
So I totally understand vocals.
Yes, everything
on point,
right.
Dance on point, skin, healthy looking.
Yeah, he lost some weight. He looks not, he's moving. He's not the original moves, but like who? No, come on,
he ain't this big no more though.
Right?
Remember, Bobby was this big with them suspenders.
Yeah. But he was doing his moves, and it was just. The experience was just amazing, and it being in such a small theater, it was so intimate. Even though we were halfway back, but it still was like you're still close enough that with your camera or your phone, you could zoom in. And it looks like you're standing right next to them, and it's like it was just the way they did it was just unlocking all kind of memories because they had the now with the concert, but then on the screen they showed them how they were before, you know, the performances they did before. So it was like you almost felt it. It almost had you in a kind of a dream state because you're in the present with them performing now, but then you're also looking at the videos of when they performed when we were growing up. So it was kind of like, wow, this is crazy. Like it was just amazing.
And this took you to places. That was the goal. Like when anyone performs, the goal is to take you places. You got to travel with them. And what I loved about it, they actually took it back to the Spinners and the Temptations. Those were the two favorite groups that really resonated, and actually where their Ronnie's uncle came out, you know, was like, hey, you know, he introduced them and opened it up. It was like he's the one that was kind of like, okay, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to practice. We're going to do this and that. And then for them to get where they at now, and they still can do it. And like Pia said, they never stop. So it's kind of like it's in their DNA how to move like that. Even the Temptation and Spinners, they all kept that going all those years.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing feat right there, just to be able to still move like that. You know, people are hard. People are hard on people, you know?
Right.
Yeah, they are.
Think about it, like, are you?
And if they say Bobby Brown looked like T.D. Jakes one more time, I'm going to have a problem with that.
But let me tell you, I couldn't do them dance steps he was doing on that stage. It's like, you got to think about it. Like, it's like everybody's life you're living, you know, you change everything. Your anatomy changes. You can't do them dance. You know how hard it is for us to do old school dances from back in the day? When did you get?
50 and over, pushing 60.
Right.
You know, I'm just glad that he's still alive after all of the trauma. He had 2 heart attacks, stroke, knee surgery. His back was messed up. He was on, you know, narcotics, alcoholism.
Right.
He watched everybody in his close circle pass away. He was molested as a child. He watched his best friend die right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He watched his mother and father and Whitney died all like within the same calendar year.
Wow.
Then his daughter dies. And then some years later, his son dies. And then not to mention the friends he lost, how God kept him. Are you serious? You know what I mean? I don't care how he comes out, as long as he comes out healthy.
Right.
I don't care if he is 500 pounds, you know, because God has grace over that man's life for real. And there's still purpose for him.
You know what? And that's how they treat him too, because like when I saw him a couple of years ago in Greensboro, North Carolina, he was, you know, not as in a good shape he is right now.
Yeah.
And they kind of was like, yo, man, we just happy you here, man. And they just kept pounding him, and they kept like going behind him with his vocals. And he couldn't get his breath together, they'll jump right in and do his vocals.
Right. That was the cult. That wasn't the legacy. That was the culture tour when they were doing that, right?
Yes. Yep. And they had his back, because they know exactly what you said. They know it. And they was like, yo, man, we just happy you walking on this stage right now. We ain't even sweating all that. Just glad you're here. And I'm glad they because they're brothers at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, they know each other for 50 years. Like, come on. They started, like he said last night, September 9th, 1978 is when they got their name New Edition. 78. They've been rocking since 78. Come on now. You're like, it's so much deeper than just being a part of a group. It's like that's their family. That's brotherhood.
Yeah.
That's their own
and when they show that, it's beautiful. Like when they showed it, I remember it was the 30th anniversary, and they got on stage, and Bobby wasn't there at first. They had on like the black and the red and the different color ties. And I remember watching that, and Bobby hadn't been out yet. It was just the 5 of them doing it. And they were doing the songs that they recorded, you know, when Bobby was solo. And I was like, okay, Bobby better come out. Bobby better come out. And he came out doing his Bobby walk. And I screamed so bad. Like I watched the TV like this. And I screamed so bad.
Like, you can move back, you know that, right? You right. See it.
I'm like this. And it was so beautiful when he came out. And this was before they started intertwining their songs when they're in concert, like BBD. It was before they really, really did that as much as they do now. And when they came out and they were singing My Prerogative with him, and they were doing the My Prerogative dance, and they were doing it, And it was just so beautiful because that's what you see. You see brotherhood, like I'm my brother's keeper, like I got your back. And then the last concert last year, the Legacy Tour, I saw that in 2 cities. And then the year before that, was the Culture Tour. But last year, because that's when Bobby had gotten sick, like for one of the shows. And he came out and Mike came out. He was like, let me tell you something. You getting all 6 of us. He was like, like you said, I don't care how you come out. And they had each other's back. Even with the Culture Tour, when they came to Maryland, Bobby got sick like the first, because he had something to eat. They were saying he had gotten sick. And Mike, I think that's when he twisted his ankle or something. And he was trying to do it. They were trying to push through. And then they were going on and off. But let me tell you something. They're so seamless in what they do. You couldn't even tell who wasn't there and who was going on. They did not miss a beat. And then one day I looked, I was like, well,
wait, such and such is in there, yeah.
Right. You couldn't even tell. It was still so professional.
Yeah.
And we owe that to Brooke, of course, the fellas, but like you were talking about Brooke Payne.
Brooke Payne. Yeah, it was good to see him come out there last night. I was like, that's the beginning right there.
Right.
He saw that in them. He was like, look, I'm gonna do everything I can to help y'all. Anybody even seen the movie know that how much work he put into those boys.
Right.
And he's still alive and kicking and looking great and coming out there. I'm just glad that groups could stay together still, y'all. I know these days and times we kind of get fickle with people. We're very funny with people now. Somebody sneeze the wrong way, I don't like you no more, and they just drop them off for everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, they went through it. Don't get me wrong. They went through their stuff now. They went through their battles. They fought like brothers. But at the end of the day, they knew that this world is already bad. We at least know what we got. We know how to handle things, and we just going to be there for us. And I just love the whole thing. And this makes you love to support people like that when you know that they go through what we go through, right?
Right.
So... But, you know what? I didn't introduce myself to you officially. Let me introduce myself to you officially. My name is ReGina Smithwick. I am a new edition fan club member number 2245. I forgot to introduce you. I am number 2245. Listen, fellas, I'm 2,245 of your fan club base, and I've been a fan since 1983.
I'm going to add on to this fan base that she's talking about. She was such a fan that in her childhood home, they had an extra bedroom. The walls were wallpapered with New Edition clippings, magazines. The entire room. The entire room was magazines from Source, from everywhere.
Teen Beat,
Beat Street, all of that on her walls. The entire room. You walked in, people were like, "What room is this?" She had it. Collage of New Edition, just everywhere, and it's like, suppose somebody want to sleep. If you want to sleep and you're waking up to seeing New Edition, don't say you didn't like it, because then you couldn't sleep there. You couldn't spend the night in that room.
No. I was, and people was like, you know what? And I thought about it. I said my parents were the bomb. You know that? Because me, if my kids decided to put some up, some big up, I'm like, yo, that mess on my wall.
Nope.
My parents, and I had it up there for years. It wasn't like I just had it there, but I had it up there for years. It was getting brown and started peeling off.
Yes.
And my parents, people were like, oh, sleeping over there. Okay, sleep in this room. They was like,
you probably had it for at least, it gotta be, when you went to college, it was still up there.
Yeah, it was still up there.
When you went to college, it was still up.
And my
it's
parents,
probably a good
15
years is up there,
Everybody stayed in that room. It was like, okay. I'm like, all right.
Wall-to-wall New Edition.
Yes, I was crazy about
it was funny, because when people came to your house that had never been to your house before, they kind of were in awe, like, oh, shoot, is that New Edition on the wall? Oh, okay. She's like, yes, that's my New Edition room.
And it took me a while. That's what he called it. My parents like the New Edition room. It was called the New Edition room. It's like, oh, y'all can go to New. I was like, Mom, where is that? In the New Edition room.
Right.
That's what we used to call it in my house.
But that's how me and you bonded, because remember I told you my walls looked the same way, except it was my bedroom wall. I wish I had a shrine. I wish I had its own. But I see you got me beat right there, sis, because it was in my room.
But I couldn't, because my room walls, I didn't have a lot of wall. Like, it was like like closets and doors, and so I didn't have a lot of wall
It was
space. But
just
the other room
plain
was
wall,
all
right.
walls. So
Yeah.
I asked my parents, "Can I put it in there?" They thought it was gonna be like a picture here and there. They came to what in the world?
Yes,
You know how
it
many
was
magazines
like,
I had to
yes.
purchase for
Oh
that?
my gosh.
Because when you get those magazines, remember back in the day, those magazines came in, like
With
you had to pay attention, like every issue, because
Mhm.
you need to get all them issues. And back then, they was almost every B Street and every Right On,
Yeah.
Right
and every
On.
Teen Beat. They was in all that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Right.
Remember in the middle where the big poster would be with the
It would
staples?
roll out, yeah,
with
the
staples,
fold-out poster.
yeah,
The fold-out
You
poster.
you pop
had
it
to
out.
pop the
Yeah.
I had a big Bobby Brown one like that. I had, of course, New Edition, but remember when Bobby had that brown leather jacket
Yes.
on
Yes.
and the white shirt?
With the
Yes.
No.
And I popped that thing.
You know what my favorite was?
yeah.
When he did the album, the one with Dag on it. I can't think of the
Bumping
name of
around.
it right now. The one that he had the black on with the
Bobby.
cap, and he did it the
Mhm.
back.
Bobby.
Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was black and white, and then Bobby's on the side. And
Yeah.
Yes.
that was one of the best
Yeah.
covers. That was hot.
Look, when I just saw him, I told you I just saw him 3 weeks ago. They had the album up, and I got to send you the picture, sis.
Please do.
He did the same pose on the stairs. That pose.
Oh.
So they had the album cover right there, and he did the same thing and put the hat in the back. I'm gonna send
What?
you the picture.
That
He
was
did
hot.
it.
Yes.
He did
That
it.
was hot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the shirt and the cap said Bobby.
Yep. But you know
He
that
did
movie. Let's talk about Bobby Brown. That Bobby Brown movie was something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it. It's literally in deck watching it again. I done seen it multiple times, and it's like I can't get enough. And I read his book multiple times. I just reread it. Listen to the audio, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all some tea. Listen to the audio of his book. Bobby Brown reads it himself.
Okay.
So you can hear every inflection, every quiver, every stutter.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
Yeah, because that movie.
Ralph is even in it.
Because I watched the New Edition movie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that movie, I was just sitting there like the whole time, like, oh my gosh. Because you knew things were happening, but when you're a teenager too, you living your life. You're a teenager. You just kind of like, okay, I pay attention to music and this and that. You would never think that things that they did in that background and how they conduct themselves and stuff, it's like, not y'all. Like,
right.
What? Yeah. Come on. Yeah, you know, because you don't see it like that. You just see them on stage. And when you're a teenager, you don't really think that people have lives. You think people just sit up there
it's
wait
a
for
celebrity thing.
Yeah, celebrity thing, right? So when you realize, you're like, they actually have a real life. They actually dealt with some stuff, you know, and like how their mothers had to deal with things and how, you know, it was amazing. Like
that was deep, right?
That was deep. That was real deep. So then, to see the Bobby Brown movie right after that and kind of seeing how that intertwined with the New Edition movie, it was amazing how they did. That was hands down great. That was great.
I just love y'all. I love you, Pia. I just met you and I love y'all. And you don't know, like, I love it for y'all. Even though I'm not there, I'm not a hater. You know, I love that y'all are there experiencing this.
Well,
I love
we're here
it
to share it
because
with you.
It's like this is a memory that you're going to talk about forever.
Forever.
Y'all being there the first day of the residency.
Yes,
I like to brag about that. We're the first one.
Right, yes.
Because we have been waiting for this residency for years.
Wow.
It's been in talk for years.
And,
so for y'all to
it
be
was
there,
worth the wait. I feel like it was definitely worth the wait. And I feel like the way the audience was, that everyone felt the same way. Like everybody was amped. Like you could tell people were coming in there with their New Edition, you know, paraphernalia on. And some people have Bobby, some people have Ralph, some people had
outfits.
They had their glitter and glam on, their
honey.
sparkle and shine, and people were excited. But the good part about it is, or for me, is that they were excited, but you know, these were grown folks, you know, so we all still carried ourselves a certain way. It was like complimentary to each other. Oh, that's a nice jacket. And it's like, well, thank you, you know, and because we're all adults, and it was an adult, you know, concert. And then you can see the excitement that everyone had and the anticipation. And then like when they started it, and we were all like, everybody was in sync. There was no issues. There was no anything. Everybody was just indulging in what was happening on that stage. And it was an amazing experience. It just really was. And what I also liked about them and they made sure, like you had mentioned before, they thanked the audience consistently. Like throughout the whole performance, they were like, it's not about us. It's about y'all. You are why we're here. Like we wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for you guys. And you could tell it was sincere, that it wasn't part of the show and it wasn't like acting. It was, they were really happy.
Yeah,
they were engaging with the audience, especially in the people in front. They were, touching hands and point, it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely amazing. I'm so glad you came today. So happy you're here. And, little side note, I'm just blessed and highly favored because God works in these mysterious ways and he introduced you to people that you never thought you would be in your life. Let me tell you, talking about singing, last night I was recording like half of the daggone show, right? You know what I did?
What you do?
Sing.
But that's what you heard on the recording.
That's all you heard. Meanwhile, they
but you didn't hear them?
They're going back.
You can hear them.
They're going, cool it now. I'm like, cool it down. Ooh, watch out.
You could hear
but
her
don't you
clear.
realize how loud and off key? Maybe me.
No, I don't sing. I'm not a good singer.
No.
So this morning I'm looking at all the videos and I'm like looking. I was like, oh my goodness. Only thing you hear is me singing off key, screaming like. I was like, cool it now. Oh, watch out.
It's like, let them go, Bobby, go. It's like, you can hear them, but still, it was like, who's that person? Are they right? She right next to, like, she was right there.
And I thought I was doing an exclusive, right? I'm like, live from Vegas. It's New Edition. Cool it now. Ooh,
they're like, who's that?
But if you can't be loud with it, what else can you be?
Right, exactly.
But good. People were still sharing it. I was like, ooh, y'all good. Because I'd be like, lady, please, I can't hear them. Can you shut up?
So look, I got to ask y'all. So y'all got to paint the picture for us that aren't there. Somebody on my live said there are New Edition posters everywhere in Vegas. That's true, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She said everywhere. So I know it's in a small venue in the Wynn. How are the seats set up? Is it like theater style? Yep. Do they have tables?
Theater.
No, it was theater. It was theater style. So the theater style, front orchestra
elevation going up.
The elevation going up. There's a balcony. So it was theater style, but it's only like 1,500.
I think it was 1,500 if I'm not mistaken. Seats in there. 1,500.
Yeah.
So I saw Usher in Vegas last year for his residency, and he had a gazillion people. Like it was huge.
Oh,
because Usher's skating and doing stuff. But I love the fact, and that was good for that. But I love the fact that New Edition is in like an intimate space.
Yeah, it was a regular stage, and I think if I'm not mistaken, see the MGM Grand is newer. So they have more innovation, like their staging is different. They have more of that. But where we was as an older hotel, so they got basically theaters, regular stage kind of setting. But what they did was they had the imaging in the back. So they showed like the big screen, and like Pia said, they kind of showed you what they did back then while you were watching them right now. Right. And then they kind of did like these little New Edition came through there, and they had like different little like
because I think the Wynn is like that. I think the Wynn is newer, but it's more intimate. Look, one of the Kelsey said the Wynn is more upscale, and I like that.
But the Wynn could be upscale, but the theater is not like Usher theater. It didn't have like
it wasn't a Coliseum. It was an actual theater, not a Coliseum.
The only thing they did with that was, I guess, theater like something different is the floor drop. So Ralph. After he finished his song, he disappeared in the floor.
Oh, I love when they do that.
And then Bobby came up from
the floor, right?
Yeah.
They did
so,
do that.
they did have that. But that was the only thing they did that was kind of on that level. Everything else was on the screen behind them.
And like I said, it was
I think that's good, though.
It wasn't bad. It was just saying that it wasn't like you said with Usher or the...
No, I'm not saying you are saying it's bad. I'm saying, but I think that's good.
That's really
somebody in my comments said that it's the same place that Anita Baker played. She did her residency.
Oh,
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I felt it took. First of all, it took us back. It made me feel like that's where we were at with them. Like that's like that.
It kind of reminded you of a The Apollo. That's the type of feel
it was
you
Apollo
had.
feel.
Because it was
like
small, bigger than the Apollo is.
Yeah,
but
Apollo's
it's like
small.
that when you used to watch the show, that's how it felt. And it was close enough that when you, like I said before, when you were taking video, you can zoom in and it looks like you were standing right there. That's how small it was. Small enough that you could everybody could see.
And they were very lenient because the people who sit in the front row, they was not sitting in the front row. They were doing
standing
like you did, like going to the stage and going like this
up against the stage.
Yeah, they
let them,
and they came to them and they was like recording. Mm-hmm. They were singing their phones and they were pointing their phones and they'll act like they were just in their personal phone singing.
Right.
Yeah,
that sounds like a
intimate.
Dream. Look, I'm like, tell me more.
That was very intimate, and it was not, like they didn't even check for like security. They just let you walk in.
Wait, we ain't telling that. We ain't telling that part because we don't want nobody to know.
Well, I'm just saying
you have to have your tickets, of course.
You have to have you have your credentials to get in. But it was about grown people being together,
right?
Grown people being together, and that's what it was. Grown people enjoying themselves and being together, and it was a good feeling to be with a bunch of grown folk that could go back in time and think about themselves. Yep. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to enjoy this show. I'm going to just chill out or whatever the case is. So it was hands down great experience. I'm glad that we decided to do it because I called her up because I was like, listen, I'm going to do this. And I said, listen, we're going to I want you to do this with me, but I got to get these tickets. I can't, because
you couldn't wait.
So can we talk about, can y'all say how much they were? That's your personal business. You don't have to say it.
Well, I don't have a problem telling you that. Anybody could look it up. It was like $750 per ticket, with all the fees and all that with it. So, but that wasn't the worst.
And that was like what, day one of sales?
That was literally not even day one. That was minute 15 of sales.
Yeah,
because I logged on 10 minutes before. I was in the waiting room waiting for them to open them up,
and they were sold out.
But let me tell you about that. Seconds. So when I went into that, it was like, okay, you're number 712. You're number 300 and so. It went from 300 to, okay, now. And then they threw me in this thing.
Right.
Then I'm like looking, and I see these blue lights, and they go away. Now I see some other blue lights, and they go away.
That's the seat.
I said, what's going on here? I'm thinking like that little game you keep hitting people, hitting those little weasels, and you like trying to get it, and then it pops back up.
Try to.
So at first I didn't get it. I didn't understand what was happening. I said, why do these blue lights keep going on and off? And then I'm realizing these are seats that are released, and you got to click on it really quick to catch them before they disappear. Yeah. So it was like 2 were coming up and 2 were going away. And then I finally got it. Then I was like, I clicked on it, and then they went away. And I finally got 2 seats. I clicked on them, I guess, fast enough that time. And they was like, congratulations, you have 2 seats. Now you got 2 minutes to pay.
2 minutes. You got to pay in 2 minutes.
And somebody was saying that they got theirs for $225 because Kelsey said that they were able to catch the American Express pre-sale.
Yeah, I did the American Express pre-sale. I did that too.
Yep.
But the thing about it is, after I purchased my I needed to be with her. After I purchased the tickets for $750.
No, I need to be with her.
Yeah, after I purchased the tickets for $750, I went back later on that day just to see how the ticket sales were, and those same seats went up to $1,400.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went up to $1,400. So I was like, okay.
See, if those tickets were available, I would still be right here on the other end listening to y'all.
No, but those wasn't American Express ones.
That wasn't the American Express
ones. Those were regular general admission tickets. But for her to get those for $200, she said,
that was New Edition, not Anita Baker, right? I just want to make sure that was New Edition, not Anita Baker. We got to find out if that was New Edition.
Yeah, please tell me, because I didn't know they even started that low. If I did, I need to call them back.
But you know what those people try to do is resell too. Do those resales, and they try to charge.
There was a lady who was next to us. There was a seat open next to us. So I was like, oh, you had someone coming? She was like, she missed her flight, so she was able to come.
I know.
And then she put her ticket on Ticketmaster, and nobody purchased it.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. That's how I felt for her last
night.
So
she paid $7-something for it.
Who knows what she
paid?
$1,400.
She could have paid more than that.
She could have. Yep. She could have.
I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to play to Vegas to see New Edition. I'm sleeping in the airport the night before.
I'm coming 2 days before
I'm coming super early. If I'm supposed to be there at 6 a.m., doggone it, I'm be there too.
Exactly.
Because
she
think
missed
about
the flight.
that. You miss your flight and there's not another one, and this is only going to be one first new edition show. Like, you're not going to say, okay, well, it's a
and
movie.
She tried
Let me
to
go
sell
to
that
customer
ticket.
service.
I was like, I felt bad. I even told her, I was like, oh, I feel bad for your
Oh,
friend.
she said new edition. I'm saying, Kelsey, is it a woman or a man? Because I want to make sure I'm clear before I say he or she. But new edition. I have two more tickets for Wednesday that I won from the radio station.
What, girl? Wow. Or is it a girl?
He's a male.
I'm sorry.
He's a male. I'm sorry. And I could see the picture a little bit because I don't want to get out of your frame because you're gracious enough to do it. It's a male. He said he bought, so you bought 2 tickets and you won?
Wow.
How, like, you won? That reminds me of 1985.
Yes, exactly.
Calling in. You're calling number 5. You won tickets to New Edition.
That is awesome.
Right. I had won a new look. So it was a play in Baltimore, right? At Baltimore, Maryland. And it was a snowstorm. But before that, I won tickets on the radio. This was the 90s. And guess what the question was?
What? New Edition.
It was to go to a play. It was like, what famous actor is Bobby Brown's son's stepfather?
Oh, Payne. Carl Payne.
Yes. Carl Anthony Payne.
Yeah, Carl Anthony Payne.
Yeah, because Carl Anthony Payne was in what I found out, he was going to be in that play. Mm-hmm. And me and one of my New Edition road dogs, Chanel, we went, and it was a snowstorm, and we went. I was like, shoot, we done won off a New Edition and made it a New Edition.
Yes, you gotta go. Yep, and a lot of people didn't know that, but he's a stepfather. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad the audience is chiming in. That's beautiful.
Yes,
that is beautiful. Your audience is chiming in.
They're chiming in. He said that he sat next to Carl Anthony Payne at the Usher concert. Like, he all in the mix.
Wow.
Tell him he's Forrest Gump of R&B.
Right.
He's Forrest Gump of R&B. And he's in every place.
Right.
Man.
I ain't mad at him. I need to rub against him.
Right, exactly.
I know, right?
Wow.
All Las Vegas knows I'm a real. So do you live in Las Vegas? Because he said all of Las Vegas knows I'm a real New Edition fan. Because I used to live in Las Vegas for 3.5 years. So I'm like, New Edition, they never had their residency then, or Usher, or anybody. Now,
now the floodgates open now. Forget about it.
Oh, he's a local pastor and community leader in Vegas.
Oh,
so you lead your church and your community to New Edition. I love it.
Right.
lead them to NE. Oh my goodness! You know what? This has been amazing. I hate that I got to close this up. I will talk about New Edition all day long.
Yes.
But we're going to have to start closing up. But like I was saying, I am so honored and blessed to meet you. I'm glad that God is seeing past and opening doors for me. And I'm glad you're part of that. And I know we're going to collab. I know we're going to be doing some things. Thank you for letting me grace your platform last week and being a guest on your beautiful show. We had a great conversation. And Pia, she loved me so much, she asked me to come back and do part 2.
Well, of course.
Yes. And I got to meet Pia, too. I got to meet you, girl.
Yes. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
you. Let me tell you something, ladies. And I thank you. Thank you for that, Regina. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go unnoticed because that means a lot to me that you're saying that. And I thank you because I feel the same way about you. So I'm definitely going to have you back. But when I'm looking at this screen and I'm looking at you two ladies and saying you've been best friends, she remembers your New Edition room, in the house. And you all look beautiful. You are glowing.
Oh,
you are glowing right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, yep. She was there for all that. We've been friends since junior high school. Mm-hmm. So we know each other a long time.
And my friend from junior high school, we're still friends. And New Edition was all on her wall, all on mine. We went to see them get their Hollywood Walk of Fame together. So, and you guys are together in Vegas. We've been friends. Me and my friend, we've been friends. I was in the 7th grade. She was in the 8th grade.
Oh, that is beautiful.
for you guys. It reminds me of that, for you guys to be there. And when she said you want to go, you were just like, yeah.
Let's go. I was like, let's go.
Because one of those things, I was like, you know what? Like, how much is it? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I can't even tell you. But, I mean, are you in? Because I got to get these tickets. I can't tell you how much it's going to be. So she trusted. She did it. And I was like, you know, it's about, life is about making experiences. And that's what that's about. So it is what it is. You know, I'm learning that as I get older. It is what it is. It'll work itself out.
I know, right?
It'll work
because
itself
the
out.
money is going to come back to you.
Yeah, it will.
But those memories are going, they're like priceless, really. Even though you paid for a ticket, the memory is priceless.
Exactly. Those are core memories.
Yeah, definitely. So as we close
were
out,
y'all dancing and stuff? Was y'all dancing?
Ooh,
girl, we'll pass doing it. Yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah, we was all over the place. Definitely all over the place. But
I'm just so honored that y'all took the time to even ask me to be on here.
Girl, no problem at all. No problem. And thank your listeners, your loyal listeners and watchers. Tell them thank you for watching us on. You know, I appreciate that. Definitely do. And hopefully you'll be seeing me soon on her platform again. I really enjoyed it. It's a really amazing show. And God has continued to bless you over these 11 years, correct?
Thank
11
you.
years. I remember. See, I was listening to you.
Yeah.
So
I gotta have you and Pia come back.
I want to say
come on my show talking about it.
I'm sorry, girl. Say it again.
No, I said I gotta have you two come on my show. Maybe talk about it some more.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Just let us know. We here. We ready. So as we have Kendell Lenice on the phone, on the podcast, I want to thank her for joining us today. I want to thank my best friend, my BFF, Pia Staine, to be up here today. Like I said, it's our first time chiming in and first time on live on video. So thank you for coming today. And I want to thank my audience, Let's Talk 1943, for allowing us to relive our memories of New Edition as member 2245, number 2245.
Calling 2245.
And so my little key point today, I always got to give you something before I leave out. So my key point today is called, being loyal, being knowing your brotherhood and sisterhood, being consistent. New Edition gives you so many prime examples of how you should live your life when it comes to things like that. Don't give up. Understand there's peaks and valleys in life. Everything's not gonna be perfect, but you still push through, you work through, and look what you at now, 40-something years in the game and having Running to See. They probably thought they deserved it a while ago, right? Mm-hmm. But it came when it was supposed to come, because it came in divine order. It came in the way God saw fit, and he knew that they were ready for it right now. Even though at their prime, you probably thought they should have had it, but God knew what they could handle and what they could not handle. And God knew at this time, the prime season of their life, that this is the prime time for them to have what they got. So my lesson is, just let him just do his job and let him figure it out. And I guarantee you it's going to happen when you need it, not when you want it. Amen. So until next time,
Amen.
Let's Talk 1943. I'm ReGina Smith with your host. God bless. Until next time, love you.